Hello. No. Hello. Crazy making. No.
Hello.
No, this is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not clicking this meeting is being live streamed. Okay, I'm not clicking that.
Hello.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Wonderful. I don't think we are. I don't think.
It says it's being recorded and live streamed. And I heard that announcement from Facebook.
Well, I've jumped out of it so many times now. So let me go over there for a minute on my phone.
Okay. Forgive me, I'm eating.
Eat. Yeah, it says we're live on Facebook.
Live.
Okay. So, greetings, divine mirrors. Sacred awakening, remembering gods and goddesses, one and all. Thank you for showing up. Welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess. This is episode number 51. Wowza. 51. Jane, where are you? Ask to unmute. Unmute yourself, Jane. There you are.
Should I click OK or not for the meeting is being recorded and live streamed?
I don't know.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Resist.
Okay, if you don't do it, I doubt it will record, but
It says it's being recorded and live streamed.
it says so. You see that.
So.
Okay.
It says here, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Anyone with access to the recording or live stream may view or share them with others. And then that gives me a place to say, okay.
So you think clicking the recording button is making it like redundant? And
Well,
okay. Well, who cares? We have no echo, so we are in success mode.
Okay, so I'm not going to click that.
Don't click.
Okay, no clicking.
No clicking. So how are you ladies doing?
Good. I'm ready for some fun.
Good. What's alive?
What's alive?
Yeah, what's alive?
Well, I have something I was going to read that relates to the ego subject.
Okay, well, our topic today is navigating ego death, and let us begin with whatever it is that you wish to read.
Okay, it's something I wrote about a year ago called Identity, Soul versus Ego. So I thought could be appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, let me get some water here. Got a frog in my throat.
Ribbit.
Don't do that when I'm about to drink something. Ribbit. Spit it out. One of the best things for getting rid of the ego is to have fun. All right.
Oh, that's true.
I yearn to fully express myself, but live in self-effacing, hiding my light, never publicly revealing my value. Why is that? The temptation of self-aggrandizing arrogance stands staunchly in my way. It is not possible to be arrogant, call attention to ego self, and also be one with the divine. So how do I express myself? How do I open to recognition embodied by soul, not ego? What blocks me being out there in full expression, joining with others, heart exposed, coming face to face with the other? Somewhere buried back in the past, a fear lurks in me, a physical and emotional fear of letting my divine value be seen, a fear of jealousy and attack from others, a sense of separation where I no longer belong. But being one with divine means releasing the separating self and merging with larger source. allowing my soul to be fully celebrated, embraced, supported by divine love. We are each a gift to each other. I have been withholding my gift from the world by not allowing my divine gifts to be seen. Revealing myself is the next challenge on my soul journey. From this empowered place, my expression will be fueled by love as a gift given that includes all, including me. It will be a joining, not a separating, an invitation for others to do the same.
Very interesting. How are you feeling right now?
Good.
Well, what came up for me as I was listening to you is the fear. It seems to me that the fear of being in our ego is the ego. So it's kind of an insidious little trick because the ego lives in fear of judgment, lives in fear of punishment, lives in fear of doing it wrong, getting it wrong, being separate from God. And the part that is fearing being separate from God is already separate from God.
However, understanding, feeling it, and then looking at it and dismantling it helped me get over it because I saw what the problem was.
Okay.
So the problem is that I think there's a competition that the other people, if I'm up, the other people are down. Whereas I wasn't seeing that both sides can be equally valuable. In other words,
we can actually celebrate the uniqueness of our distinct characters embodied in form and actually play with our egos as opposed to being afraid of them or being in judgment of them.
well, maybe we should first define, actually, I was about to, because I was thinking about this, define what ego is. I started to write something when someone called and had a conversation with me just up till the time where I had to get on, so I didn't get a chance to do it.
Yes, it's true, because I was going to say that too. It's like, I mean, the topic is navigating ego death, but before we can talk about ego death and how to deal with that, defining what ego is absolutely makes sense. So if you're on a roll and want to keep going, go for it.
Okay.
Stuart, would you unmute your mic? Yeah. Okay.
I have two things in my mind having at the same time. One is a side thing, but I'll say it first before the ego thing. I'm often feeling nervous when I get on these calls, and there's an ego thing that comes in there that causes it. And if I think that I'm being untrue to myself in any way, I start getting really nervous because it's contradiction for myself. So if I think about enjoying myself when I'm on the call, the ego disappears and I'm not nervous. Okay. So, ego. From the perspective of the thought system that I developed, ego is a defense system defending what the substitute persona believes is true about itself when it makes a limiting decision. So in other words,
slow down.
Okay, so a limiting decision in this example could be something like, I'm not good enough, I'm bad, I'm powerless, and so on. Then the person develops a defense system to defend themselves against feeling that way. And then that defense system becomes an ego. It shows up as ego, like arrogance or superior, or something, a false persona, sort of another level of the false persona, but it's to defend against what they really believe is true about themselves.
Okay.
So now, soul is interested in what really matters to you. Love matters, fun, enjoyment matters. Just whatever goes towards life, what really matters. What matters to the ego is avoiding present moment truth. So if you're doing something that is connected to what really matters to you, such as enjoying yourself, really, truly enjoying yourself, or love, or something that's anything that's connecting, you're not in your ego, you're in your soul. It's the truth. If you're avoiding that because of a limiting decision, then you're in your ego.
So if I'm interpreting you correctly, I would say that when one is fully present, they are in their soul.
Right.
When they are distracted or preoccupied by looking good, or how they're coming across, or what the repercussions of what they're sharing might be,
Right.
they would be in their ego.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so fear is present. So we're either, like Course in Miracles says, we're either coming from love or we're coming from fear.
Yeah.
And if we're coming from fear, then we're separate from God and we're in our ego.
So, and for me, if I start getting to fear in any way, I can always invite divine in. That's my go-to.
And how do you do that?
I just say, show me the way forward, open myself up to life working. There's certain phrases that I have that shift the energy for me.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome,
Thanks for listening.
Welcome, Stu. Becca. Either of you have something you'd like to contribute right now?
Becca is muted.
Oh yeah, Becca, mute your mic. No? You're eating. She's eating. Stuart, you welcome to the call.
Thank you. Ego death. What's the topic of the moment?
Topic for today is navigating ego death. We're starting by defining what ego is, and pretty much anything you feel to say about it.
Well, what comes to mind is some people, myself included, can sometimes think about ego like it's a bad thing, or it's something that takes over. In fact, something that we decided was us at a very young age. And then other people talk about the ego like it's a healthy thing, meaning it's like one of the sub-personality voices and can be played with or made friends with. So, I don't know definitively, but I know it's a common thing to think of the ego as edging God out, and I think that makes ego kind of a villain, and I'm just not sure that's the truth.
Well, I think that ego would only be a villain when it is causing us to feel separate.
Separate from other people or circumstances or
The divine. God. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we are all of God and we're all in the illusion of separation in these characters that we're getting to play, and there's not a certain portion of our awareness that is connected to the truth, that behind this veil of disparate seeming masks and personalities, there's just one consciousness pretending to be many. Like if there's not a certain portion of our awareness connected to that, then we've moved into a kind of a psychosis, and we're in the illusion of separation that has us feeling like like it's us against the world, it's us against others, it's us against God, that we're not in God's grace.
Well, would you say that that is largely predominant? That most humans seem to be walking around with their individual names and identities and feeling separate from everyone else?
I would say that is why the world is in the state that it's in.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's sort of a black and white thing. Because there are a lot of people who have consciousness and who do come from love. It may just depend upon if you're if you're triggered or you're living in circumstances that, I mean, people have certain areas of their life in which they're present and areas in which they're not present, and they can go in and out of it.
That's true. That's true.
But I also have a particular kind of experience that relates to this. That's different. And that for 22 years, I was in a spiritual community, and I was taking care of, one of the duties that I had was taking care of an autistic young woman. She was 13 when I got there and was something like 48 when I left her. Or no, I was,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I can't. Anyway, she didn't speak. She did self-destructive kinds of things. She had a deep, deep soul. And I discovered the only way to relate to her was through the heart and through this, on a heart and soul level, because she wouldn't relate otherwise. And if she would do things like she'd run in, she couldn't be left alone because of what she might do. And if you took her for a walk, you have to hold on to her and make sure she didn't run into the street chasing after fluff. She was always chasing after garbage and stuff like that, putting in her mouth. Eventually she grew, and I didn't. She got bigger than me, so I couldn't control her. And so I said to her one day, okay, Nikki, you're too big for me to control you. So if you run out in the street, I can't stop you anymore. So please don't do that. And she didn't.
Wow.
Wow.
And another point later, some years later, after I'd been out of the group, and her sister brought me for communication sessions because I was really good at communicating with her. And I told her, well, Nikki, my balance is not very good. I've gotten older now. So, and Nikki is really sort of very robust, and she sort of, can bump into things and stuff like that. I said, don't bump into me because I might fall over. And she didn't. So she would listen on a soul level. So to a whole soul level thing that's, really important. But the other thing that I noticed is that her sister at that point, when I saw her, had her on these meds meant for a person like her. And it seemed to have given her a sense of ego. I could tell a sort of a personality that she didn't have a personality before. And then she got sort of playful, and she took my hand, and she was at my house, and she was pulling me she wanted to visit all the rooms in the house. And it felt like she was being playful. Anyway, it was just sort of interesting. And she always, before this, I mean, she always felt like a very safe person to be with. You never felt judged or anything, or embarrassed about anything. There was no sense of judgment or whatever. It's like, in a sense, sort of blank. Anyway, that's my experience, different kind of experience of soul. And she was a very deep, really, really deep soul, and I loved her. She's not alive anymore.
It's fascinating that the meds would do that. It sounds like in her natural state, she was just pure soul. She was not, she hadn't cultivated any sort of public persona.
Right.
That she felt obligated to maintain.
Right.
Sounds like such a relief. My God.
So it was also a really good lesson, because the only way you could relate to her was soul to soul and heart to heart.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, that's why we like animals so much, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because they haven't cultivated this sort of posture. in order to, out of some idea that they have to be a certain way in order to be liked and approved of.
Yeah.
They're just being who they are.
Well, Tess,
Yes, yes.
I feel to invite you, based on the reaction you had to that description of being egoless and personaless, I would like to invite you to give up any need to behave or identify yourself in such a way that there's any consistency that we grown to know as Tess Kempner.
Thanks. Thanks. Well, I mean, that sort of brings us to the topic of the day, which is navigating ego death, which to me, from a spiritual evolution perspective, is where we all are going in order to return to our experience of oneness, to dissolve the illusion of separation between us so that we could enjoy the characters that we get to play, but not feel trapped in them. And it feels, as my experience in terms of like peeling away the layers of the onion and the levels of ego death that I personally have been going through, is that in a certain way it feels like actual death.
What do you mean by ego death? I really don't have a sort of a visceral understanding of what that means.
So when life doesn't seem to be bending to my will, I'll speak of myself, right? When life doesn't seem to be bending to my will, and more, it feels like I'm banging my head against the wall because my programmed, created persona has a belief that if I want to do something, I should be able to do it. And then existence keeps putting up a wall, keeps going. And that's not what you're doing. I get that you want to do that, but that's not what you're doing. And the stubbornness of the ego feeling like I'm responsible for my life, it's up to me to make things happen. And so I need to get stronger and smarter and better and work harder and be more productive and start judging myself that I'm not intelligent enough, that I'm not capable enough, that I'm not savvy enough. Like the list can go on and on and on and on.
But what if all of that is your ego speaking?
That is all my
Yeah,
ego.
right.
That is all my, I wasn't finished. So all of that is the ego in the illusion of separation that feels obligated and frustrated to be responsible and make my life happen the way I think it should. And then there comes this point of exhaustion, right? This point of despair, of like, I give up, I quit, I can't do it. It's like me against the world, and I'm losing. I think about this play that was on Broadway when I lived in New York. It was called Your Arms Are Too Short to Box with God. Does anybody remember that play?
Title.
Yeah. And I think that's really what it comes down to, is that the ego either doesn't believe in God or doesn't believe it's worthy of God's grace and feels like it has to fend for itself. And that surrender to going, okay, here's my white flag, I'm crying uncle. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. I have to align my will with the will of the divine and be happy and satisfied with whatever I get and not what I think I should get.
But your ego shows up like the opposite of mine.
Tell me.
Like, I don't think that I should. You start out saying, well, life isn't going the way I want it to. And then you sort of try to, and it should go the way I want it to. And there's something wrong with it's not going the way I want it to. For me, if it goes the way I want it to, I'm like, well, wow, look at that. I don't expect it to. So, which, you know,
Why don't you expect it to? Why?
because my own limiting decisions.
So
It's
that's
just-
that's ego too, right? That's
Yeah.
it's the
So
flip
whether
side
you're,
thing.
so whether you're an introvert, I'm an introvert, you're an extrovert, presumably. half and half.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. And certain areas I'm sort of like, yeah, you're right. But at any rate, either way, it's the false persona. It's a, you know, but it is also made easier for me to just let go of control because I'm used to not having control or feeling as though I don't have control. Or maybe I shouldn't have control. I don't know.
But do you mostly feel grateful or do you mostly feel disappointed?
I mostly feel challenged.
Okay, so why is that? What do you feel challenged by? If you're in the flow and
Oh,
you're
I'm not in the flow all the time, and that's taken a lot of work to get myself so that I am more in the flow, and find ways to stay there. Not sure what the question. What was the question?
why do you feel challenged?
Well, yeah, life is challenging.
Wait a
Well,
minute. Life is meant to work.
Well, as I say, fairly frequently, I have to open myself up to life working, because I can feel there's something in me that is stopping life from working, or fearing that life isn't working. There's probably a limiting decision that, you know, life doesn't work.
So right, so that limiting decision is of the ego.
That's right.
Because if we like, if you know, in order to enter the kingdom, we must be innocent as children, right? Be as a child again, right? And children don't have this cultivated persona that feels responsible. And if we can give ourselves permission to get back into that mindset of the trusting child, then there's no expectations. And with no expectations, we can simply be delighted by whatever comes. But because we have expectations and we feel responsible, we're really hard on ourselves. So to give that up is what I describe as ego death. And the giving up, it's like we've been programmed and functioning in a particular way for so long that when we face the possibility of letting go of our agenda, I say, I surrender my agenda. I surrender my agenda. And when we do that, it's like, oh my God, what now? Oh my God. So
I've been sort of forced there, in that I've had a number of situations through the years where survival instability or housing instability or various forms of instability, that my only choice was the divine, opening up to the divine, asking for help from the divine, and so on. And that's what got me out of a bunch, you know, pickles. That's a sort of funny phrase, over and over again. And to me, that's the only thing that works.
And is there peace and relief and comfort in it, or is there still fear and worry related to it?
There's a lot of peace with it, because but you know, there's still, the thing is, when it works too well, I start getting nervous, because then the temptation is to go into arrogance, to feel as though, oh, I got a formula, I know how to do it, I feel in control of this. That the moment
because you don't feel worthy of it, or
I know it's because it's a matter of letting go of control and allowing.
uh-huh.
So the moment I think that I've got control, and that is ego control,
Right.
then it's no longer co-creating with the divine.
Right. So, but when you said that you have felt forced
Because
let go, That's not your soul speaking, that's your ego speaking.
No, it's,
I mean, because there's no God doesn't force itself,
well, what I'm saying is that's the only thing that works.
is what?
Opening up to God, asking for guidance, all the different, putting it, just all the ways I relate to the divine and asking for help. That's my only way forward.
Yes, I get it. And
I have never succeeded in using my ego, even before I was even as evolved as I am now in relation to the divine. It's just, I guess on a soul level, that just wasn't congruent for me.
Well, can you give us an example of a time or a situation in which you were attempting to move forward in your ego?
Well, different housing situations that I've been in. It's been some years now, but in which I was actually even in danger of being out in the street. And I was doing all kinds of things to try to change that situation. But the thing that worked the best was opening up myself up to divine and asking for guidance and putting out there what it is that I needed and so on. And
Well,
that seemed to change things for me.
Well, I hear you say it's the only thing that works for you. And it's me that if you have a facility with connecting to the divine and that works for you, that's probably the single best tool or partnership one could have in life.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's actually great that
Oh, it is great. I feel blessed. It sort of makes it easier for me to be on this path.
okay, I guess I mean the part that stuck out for me was when you said that you have felt forced to surrender to the divine. So who is forced? Who's the one that's forced?
Well, it's just a matter of no other path was open for me. It's sort of like there's one. I don't have a lot of energy, and I haven't for a very long time, ever since I was in the spiritual community. And that has made the choices that I have much more focused. If I'm not inspired, I don't have the energy to do it. If it's not something that really is not, I should do, or I'm meant to do, or it's soul, it feeds my soul in some way, I can't do it. And that sort of makes choices easier for me. In a sense, it's sort of a form of guidance. Now, I think it'd be great if I had loads of energy and I could choose, have more choices, but it's, I don't know, it sort of makes me for focusing on the divine as much as I do. It's easier for me than it is for a lot of other people who, like, I remember years ago, people used to do all these network marketing and these, what are the level?
multi-level.
Right. And some people made a lot of money. Some people have lost their shirts. And I tried doing that, and there's just no way I could succeed in doing it. So something, it's like all these just different schemes and stuff like that other people can make work. I couldn't make work.
Well, there's a lot of will being put into use in that. It's like people have a strong will and they're committed to something, so they work really hard at it. And I would, unless they're working in alignment with their divine purpose, then I would say more often than not, they're overriding their emotional guidance system, which is wanting them to take a more grace-filled path rather than sweat of the brow with so much effort and energy.
So I've never been able to do that, to succeed in anything like that, because I just don't have the energy behind it. It's just too incongruent for me.
Well, again, I feel to say, Jane, that if you think of yourself as having low energy, and so you can't really engage in something that is not divinely inspired, then good, because then you're on track, you're
Yeah.
connected to God,
Yeah.
you're in the flow, you're in the pocket.
Yeah. True.
So you could be happy. I mean,
Yeah, no, I see it as a blessing also. I think it I don't I think that in my own personal evolution, I I don't think that I need to have no energy in order to be in alignment with the divine. It just sort of has been a guidance system. But I think that I don't have to have low energy to be connected to the divine. It's just something that has sort of been a guidance tool.
yeah. So it served you.
Right.
If it has brought you to God, then it has served you.
Yeah,
And,
it has. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
and if you're aligned with God in whatever doing you might be doing, one would think that you would find that you actually have plenty of energy to do it.
Yeah. Well, there is maybe I should read another poem that I have that would relate to this. I'm not sure if it would be it would give you a sense of what my dilemma is and the way forward.
Okay. I'm gonna be a little obnoxious and say only the ego has a dilemma. Go ahead.
Well, that's true. I was partly, and the other thing I read was partly saying this one's called Thunderheart, and I wrote it in 2021. Pounding, 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 a drumbeat galloping and thundering heart rage, roaring tiger, raging lamb, galloping wildebeest. I'm suffocating, holding the living energy back. It is draining the living energy from me. I can hold it back no more. Is it finally safe to let flow the blood coursing through my veins, trusting my heart will remain true? Is my heart true enough now to release the passion coursing through its veins? Warrior princess, thundering heart, wild heart that cannot be tamed. Can this timid, bold body withstand the passion within it, encompassed by heart forces beyond its control? Can it allow the passion to flow out in co-creation with a living, wild, creative heart force? I am almost ready.
You're all, what? What was the last line?
I am almost ready.
All right, Jane, fling off those glasses and get up and start dancing. Come on. Let her,
So
let
what
her out.
my
Let her
soul
out.
is waiting for is the heart to be strong enough to, I don't know how to, there's some kind of a conflict in there.
Yeah.
It's fear. It's fear.
But so I know that for me, the answer is love. And for me to understand how to tap into that in the midst of whatever circumstance, that's the gift that I was given. I was born connected to love. And that's just sort of who I am on a soul level. That's my superpower.
That's beautiful. What's the pain?
Well, I sometimes forget how powerful love is. So I don't I don't know. I don't know if I completely understand what I'm talking about. I'm just telling you as much as I can grasp.
I think that you do. I think that you do understand it immensely. And I think that your ego has taught you a certain resistance or fear of being as fully, beautifully, lovingly self-expressed as the person that I just heard describing that she came into this existence knowing love and being love. And you said something about your heart. Your heart has to be ready. And I would think that
I have to get so that I trust my heart is ready.
yeah, and I think that your heart is I think your heart is as ready this very moment as it will ever be.
Yeah. Well, I have been evolving over the years to understand how strong this is, and how much I am love, how much that really is who I am, and to understand the strength of it. So it's an evolving process for me. I am far, far stronger than I ever was.
Okay. I do hear in your speaking a tendency to talk about how powerful love is, as well as that you are love, and maybe a little resistance to say how powerful you are, given that you are love. I mean, is it possible that Dr. Jane Eileen Cohen is actually powerful?
Love is powerful. Hold on just a minute.
Yeah, you said love was, and you said that you are love. So by the commutative property.
So the only thing that causes me to focus on the issue of power has to do with a limiting decision that I'm powerless.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the wounded, programmed ego story that has you think that you are a separate little power source, not connected with the mainframe.
Well, I am in process of I mean, I know all of this consciously. None of this is
right. We know you know. We know you know.
So
we're just reflecting to you what we're hearing you say, and I'm having the feeling, you may not want to do this, but if you rented or purchased a Wonder Woman uniform or costume and put it on and began to embody the persona of your perception of Wonder Woman, who is love, who is powerful, that might be really fun and liberating for you. And you could dance around the room, and you could laugh, and you could be joyful, and you could feel the power, the empowered version of yourself that you clearly know you are.
Go Stu.
Go Stu.
I may be edging in that direction, in that and it comes up for me when I come into this show about how to let's see. So the things that particularly helped me is the idea of being playful and enjoying myself and connecting, heart connecting, and so on. It's
right.
Those
they need the Wonder Woman costume in order to, you could remove the glasses, and you
I only wear glasses for reading. I don't usually wear glasses. One of the boons of getting older is that you get cataracts, and then you get cataract surgery that insurance pays for, and now my vision is great.
I will assert that is buying into the collective story, and not being in your own divine power.
Well, it worked for her. That she had the cataract surgery, didn't you? And that it worked.
Yeah, it worked great.
So you're not actually reading right now, so you don't really need your glasses.
Well, for some reason, it's helpful to use that on the computer, but I don't normally walk around with glasses.
Oh, you don't?
No. I used to have contacts, but since that surgery, I don't need glasses.
Do you ever dance around your home
A little,
with
sometimes, occasionally.
uh-huh? Is that fun for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Do you ever feel powerful while you're doing it?
I feel joyful.
Uh-huh. And would you say that feels powerful sometimes?
Yeah.
Great. I think you're onto it.
I feel powerful a lot of times, just in various circumstances.
Uh-huh. Great. Yeah. So it sounds like that you are well positioned to be a teacher, a speaker of divine connection.
And how to connect with the divine, is that what you mean?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you said it's the only tool that's ever worked for you in your life. So you're kind of an expert. I would guess, based on that statement, that you are kind of an expert in connecting to the divine.
Yeah,
And
I'd say I am. Yeah.
and when you take your glasses off and when you put on some music and when you move around the room with this intention or this purpose, my guess would be that everyone would follow you.
I'm not sure the point you're making here. I'm not
Uh-huh.
understanding what you're saying.
Uh-huh. Well, it might be an experiential thing. You probably need to do
Well,
it.
well, I don't know the point that you're trying to make. Um, it's not that it's not that I don't have an impact in the world. I do.
Okay, good. I would expect you to, if you're pure love and connected to the divine, I would think that you do have an impact in the world.
Um, I'm not saying that there isn't any place for me to move forward with this. I'm not. I'm not out in the world. I'm not even sure what it is that I want to be doing further out in the world. But I know that I'm not. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm in the show.
In what
And
This one.
Tessa's show,
Oh,
and I have been on other podcasts and stuff, is to get out in the world more, to be seen out in the world. I also participate. My You can say my highest goal is to participate in the human evolutionary process. That's really, really what I want. And I think especially now, it's really important for those of consciousness to get out there and be seen and be known. Very, very important at this, especially at this time. And so this is really good practice for me. And so the first couple of times I was on Tessa's show, I was really nervous and didn't come across very well. And I've gotten more and more together.
well, that may be the ego mind that was judging you as not coming off very well. But
Well, I was very nervous.
yeah, okay, you were and you're less nervous now.
Right.
Right. And you are aware that you are love, that you came in with love, and that you have a lifelong history of your single most powerful tool has been your connection to the divine.
Right. Although I'm not always aware that I am love. I don't know, it's just, I don't know what you're trying to do, Stu, so I don't know how to respond to it. It's not like everything's black and white and you're always aware of everything. And so
Yeah, I know. How about this? They often say all there is now.
right.
And right here and now, just a few minutes ago, I heard you talking about being pure love and having this very reliable tool of being connected to the divine. And it seems like you have a greatest vision for teaching people that and spreading that. And so I guess I'm just coaxing you or inviting you to be perhaps fully in the love that you are and connected to the God the way you do right now? And if so, what does that feel like? What does that look like? How would it be expressed through you?
Well, it's not just made to order. You know, I can't. It's just like someone who has psychic powers. You ask them, okay, predict something.
Well, except
It's
Yeah,
that we
well,
not talk about the future. I was suggesting we just be it in the present.
I feel sort of attacked by your approach here.
Okay, I can understand that. I was kind of connected to the love that I am and my own sense of the divine while I've been talking to you this way, and I'm being very playful, which is part of. I know that I'm in my power and I'm connected to my heart, and connected to God when I'm being playful. And I think I heard you say that it's true for you too, right after I said the thing about the Wonder Woman costume. And I can understand. I mean, I'm in a male body, so I maybe have a little more testosterone, perhaps, than the rest of you all. But my good purpose is simply I'm hearing you talk about coming in pure love. I'm hearing you talk about having this only one tool that's ever worked for you consistently, which is connecting to God. And now is all there is. So I'm simply inviting you to be marvelous, to be fabulous, to be the opposite of how you felt the first few times you came on the test show. Meaning, if that was you were nervous and didn't come off so good, well, what does the opposite end of the spectrum feel like to Jane and look like to Jane right here and now?
I haven't been nervous, and I've been having, I've been coming across fine. And I was having a rather good time until I feel as though you were going, perform, perform.
Perform. Interesting.
yeah, well, I mean, I think that if I may interpret, it's like you read that piece, right?
Yeah.
And you read that piece describing this fiery, passionate aspect of yourself that you long to unleash, and we want you to unleash it, so it's not an attack, it's an encouragement, and it is
I can't just make it up if it's not there. I'm not holding something back.
it is confrontive to be asking that of you right here, right now in camera. But that's why I said I wish you would just like fling off your glasses and get up and start dancing. And
Well, I don't really feel moved to do that. I can't just make it up.
Well,
I hear
Jane,
you. I hear you. And I don't think we should belabor this.
well, no, I have something to say. Performance, that which we call the performing arts, are largely based in emotion. And at root, people usually find themselves in the performing arts because they have a passion for it. And you read a poem to us just a few minutes ago that was identifiably passionate. And you pulled it out and you choose to read it. And so even though it feels like I'm trying to pull something out of you that isn't there, that's kind of what an acting coach or a performance coach would do. And since I've studied so much of the performing arts, that's my tendency to invite you and encourage you to let us have it now rather than waiting for some undisclosed moment in the future when you recognize that your heart is ready to do that. There's no time like the present. And
do you mind sort of lowering the volume of your voice?
I could even lower the pitch of my voice too.
I'm just finding the energy coming from you rather off-putting.
I feel you. It might be an interesting experiment for you to match me.
Why? Why would I want to?
Ooh.
I don't want to.
Well, the words of your poem suggest that there's a passion in you that is perhaps more than you're comfortable expressing at this moment. And
Well,
I
it's
think,
not like it's always feeling that passion that needs to come out and dance like a warrior. That's not where I am.
Well, I would
where are you?
suggest that to you're saying, I mean, when you and I talked about you coming and doing a session with me, when I work with people, this is what I do. I create a safe space to stir up the energy to allow all that has been bottled down to come out. So there is something contrived and artificial about the situation, yet there's something profoundly cathartic about letting, I mean, it's like, I know that, well, it's kind of funny because my rising sign is Leo, but there is a roaring lion inside of me. And I don't roar all the time, but when I do, oh my God, it feels so epic. So like I don't need a lot of excuse to give myself permission to do it. Or if somebody is inviting it out of me, it's like, thank you for letting me like move all that stuck energy. Because I would suggest, Jane, and I'm just thinking this as I'm saying it, is that like the sense of low energy is symptomatic of like stagnant energy.
Well,
Like if you're living in a shared living situation, and if you're not in a situation where you have, primal release facilitators as your co-housing people, or
Well,
actors.
I don't feel like I've got a whole bunch of energy that needs to come out. That doesn't feel that way to me.
Okay.
Like right now, I wrote that poem in 2021, by the way. That's yes,
Yeah,
some
you
years
felt
ago.
to share it. So yeah. Oh,
Right.
Rebecca is raising her hand. I think we need to hear from Rebecca right now.
Yeah.
This is really exciting, let me just say. So I just want to say, Jane, in your poem, you said, I'm almost ready. And that's how you ended it. And so
Right.
I think that this is all bringing stuff up because you said, I'm almost ready. And so this is an opportunity for you to say, okay, that was then, and here we are now. So what are you waiting for? And so I just want to come back to the original conversation, which is the ego death. And so I was going to say, I had turned my volume off, but I was going to say the only, not the only, but the greatest way to subvert ego is to let it go and give it up to God, to have a conversation with God and ask God, what is God's will for me? And by asking that question, you literally let go of ego, and you actually express that is your greatest strength, is to connect with God. So I want to just keep coming back to that, because that's really the heart of everything, that we can find our personal power when we ask God, what do you want from us? From me personally, God, what? Is this right? Is this right? And then I could be fully self-expressed if I'm serving God.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I agree with that. And that's just what I'm saying as well. I think that the issue for me, when I say I'm almost ready, is my concern is to not be destructive. So I've seen energy come out, that's very destructive. And so the idea that I would hurt somebody else with my energy is very horrible to me.
are you
So
saying
I
you have
think what the point of what I'm saying in the poem is that I have this huge energy, and is my heart strong enough to maintain love with this energy? So I think that's, and I am understanding more and more, like in situations with housemates or something, if I get triggered or pissed about something, how do I relate, be true to myself, and at the same time not be destructive?
Well,
So
I would say, and I do this all the time. I mean, the moment that I put my receiving palm onto my heart, and talk, I know I'm in my heart. There's no doubt that I am in my heart. With my hand on my heart and I'm feeling my heart, I know I'm in my heart. And just as an observer, friend of yours, I would say, I can't imagine any moment in time under any circumstance that anyone would ever doubt that you are coming from love. Even if you're angry, even if you're pissed off, even if you're screaming and cursing, I don't think anyone would ever accuse you of being mean-spirited in any way. And so I would suggest that your fear is irrational, and that is coming from your ego. Because for you to doubt that you're coming from love, or that anybody would interpret you as such, is not your soul. That's not your soul speaking.
Well, except that when I'm triggered.
Well, but you listen. I mean, Jesus turned over the tables of the money lenders, right? He was triggered. He got triggered.
Well, at any rate,
I think everybody should right now. I'm going to suggest that we all take a deep breath and let out a big frustrated sound. And
well,
one, two,
Jane, when you felt
okay,
like
I just wanted to say one last thing, and then I think we should just drop this.
Hang on.
I am getting guidance before I even come into these sessions now. I'm getting guidance about the best way for me to be, so that I'm heart connected, or so that it's I'm not sure how to describe it. And I've been getting certain guidance. So the guidance I got, the most recent guidance I got was enjoy yourself.
Okay.
yeah,
And
Are you?
well, not at the moment, because I feel sort of under attack. But
What if you chose to enjoy yourself no matter what?
well, I'd say stuff it.
Say it. Say it.
I've enough of this prep. So, no more pushing, no more prodding. When I feel up to, like I want to do something, or something is up for me, but I'm not going to make it up. So I am getting guidance, and I am listening for guidance, and I am making progress. And let me see. So at any rate, I sort of feel as though I'm sort of I make myself perhaps too vulnerable. So I open myself up to people feeling as though they can sort of push and pull or prod or whatever, because I'm a very vulnerable person. But I'm not enjoying it.
yeah. Jane, I don't know if you want to hear anything from me at the moment, but
Probably not. I'd probably rather punch you in the nose.
yeah, well,
Yes,
that would
some honesty.
that would be just
Because I was
fine.
about to say, I feel like you're being dishonest in your politeness. I don't
but-
think it's honest.
Rather than hitting me in the nose, how
Yeah.
about if I invite you to tell me off?
I already said what I had to say to you. I already told you that I feel as though you're basically attacking and using me like I don't know. At any rate, I've said what was on my mind to say.
Okay, both of you go to your corners. Everybody take a deep breath. Let us return to the silence. And just sit in presence together for a bit.
Oh, this is very good. This was very good.
Yes. I love the way every week you select such excellent, prescient topics.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
really have to look at this, what we're experiencing as a world is really about ego death. We are so about ourselves. Every one of us, we are so aware of ourselves, how we look, how we present. Instagram is everything. You know, it's how we present ourselves, how the world is seeing us. We only tell the good stuff on Facebook. What an obsessive, egotistic culture we live. And we are really coming to terms with letting that go and really coming back to what matters. And that is our connection to God.
Mhm.
It's not going to be easy. Every one of us is going to feel personally threatened. How dare you force me? I don't have to let go of me in order to. What an opportunity. What a gift. How prescient. I love the way you think, the way you see your vision in the future, bringing it present. So thank you.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel, I mean, I feel that the reason that most of the things that I, as the ego, have tried to do haven't worked is because I am not the main event here.
Mm. It's pretty funny, the irony, I think, of this age that we're in right now, this new age we call it. You know, there's that new age guilt. Like, how could I be sick? I willed myself not to be. I thought myself healthy, so why am I sick? You know, I mean, it's so twisted because we think we're in control, as if, like, if I just get, more intense about it or clearer about it, as if and it's not until we say, is that what you want? Do you want me to be ill, God? What's the lesson in my illness right now, God? What am I supposed to learn? Oh, this is my opportunity to ground myself. It's my foot. It's my opportunity to notice that I take the weight of the shoulders. Oh, that's why my shoulder hurts. Oh, this is what I can't bite off more than I can chew. Oh, that's why my teeth hurt. Oh, I mean, like, to notice the the ailment,
Yeah.
and to be willing to say, it's not me, it's the lesson that I have to learn, and it's really a function of my relationship with God. It's like the moment that we do that connection, we can let go, and then and stuff will show. That which is meant for us will show up. It's pretty remarkable.
Thank you. Amazingly, I came upon this new, to me, channeled teaching, entity that goes by the name Sanhya, and and I've been listening to these little messages. They're 10 minutes or less. And the one last night, as I was driving home from somewhere, I listened to again so that I could take notes. and he said, the mind is the thinking function that is associated with the brain, which is intricately connected with the ego, that thinks you are separate from God, believes all of your stories, thinks you are a victim, is driven by fear, survival versus love, trust, faith, inherent connectedness, and oneness. It does not believe in your divinity or accept the reality of your eternal soul. And so what else did it say? the ego is punishing, trying to win back God's love by being extra good and pure, and believes that we have to be perfect in order to be in God's good grace. And to let go of that we don't have to do one thing to deserve God's love. It is inherent to us. And so to allow ourselves more freedom to celebrate the miracle of our being without worrying about what we look like, without feeling like it's dependent upon what we accomplish or what we contribute, or how successful we are in the eyes of our programmed society, which is largely, like you're saying, Rebecca, is largely in this egoic hypnosis. I mean, when we were talking a week or two ago about the president of, what country was it?
El Salvador,
El Salvador.
Bukele.
Yeah, talking about, well, we pray before we take any action. Well, there's no ego there. There's humility. There's so-called human beings, because even this term human that we've created that causes us to feel separate from the divine is a hallucination. If we were really, and it's funny because like in the so-called conscious community, and we go around calling ourselves and one another God and Goddess, and some people think that's so pretentious, yet it's such a powerful reminder of the truth of our divinity, the truth of who and what we actually are. And if we could love and honor ourselves and one another with that same reverence and that same sense of awe and wonder that we exist, we would let ourselves be fully expressed as the unique, eccentric characters that we are, and just celebrate it, which is what's so cool about Burning Man. It's like everybody is celebrated for being their freaky weirdness. It's and then that people that go there bring it back into society, and then that energy is infiltrating and permeating, and there is more celebration of our uniqueness, but not as separate. But it's like, look how God is manifesting over there as that. Look how God is manifesting over there as that. Look how God is manifesting over there as that. And we're all in this wonder together. So the ego death is painful to the ego. However, in the allowing the dissolution of it, what remains is that childlike wonder and gratitude and joy. And that, I believe, is where our healing opportunity lies for our whole species.
Total alignment.
So the parts that need to stay in control, and the parts that need to look good, and the parts that need to, sort of measure it and handle it and have it all. Like, look, I've been banging my head against the wall trying to figure out the platform and the technology and the this and the this. And it's like, if I was committed to looking good, we wouldn't be sitting here at 51 this being like a train wreck technologically every freaking week for me, and yet it's like I feel like the content is more important, because all I'm doing here is pointing to the divine. Like, that's what
Well, I'm enjoying that you being human. it's not like a train wreck. It's just sort of makes you more relatable.
And I want that because I don't want to be like all like polished and ta-da. And
It's sort of heartwarming.
thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's like and that has been an ego death surrender for me. It's like when Stu and I had the Ocean Beach Playhouse for the time that we had it, and I launched the Shamanic Expression Jam. People, we would play for 2.5 hours, and then I'd get everybody in circle and I'd be like, okay, this is my weird ass brainchild and I know why I'm here. I mean, I have had that, New York theater, auditioning for Broadway and off Broadway, and moving to Los Angeles and auditioning for soap operas and all this, very professional, very polished stuff. And it's like, I want to be professional and I want to be polished. And it's like God is going, no, just be human, just be regular, just be accessible. And it's like, okay, I surrender. My ego freaking hates it, but I'm like, I accept there's something better about this, because it's like, if I can do it, you can do it. It's not that I'm so special.
Thing I always loved about performing, sometimes you right before the show, you standing backstage, it's like, oh shit, I hope I remember my lines. Oh my God, is my hair done? Do I look like a, and it's all about me, 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 me. Oh no, how am I gonna look? How I hope I don't fuck up, right? And then it's that conscious choice of, okay, use that energy, that nervousness, and use it to get presence, the character, put yourself there, really requires coming out of self, to putting the attention off of me,
Right.
putting it into the communication, into the message, into the intention, embody the character, and it's not about me. And the more I remove me and place it somewhere, the more I can channel that and it's not, I can let go of that nervous energy and use it, or be used by it, is really how I prefer to see it.
Yeah, I get that. And as you were saying it, I was remembering this play that I did at the theater company in Los Angeles, and I was the lead character and I was the first one on stage. And I would, stand in the wings waiting for the audience to die down and the lights to change and the music to come on, and I would stand there, and I was usually like freezing cold and shaking because my clothing was very skimpy, and all I would do is pray to let me get out of my own way. Let me get out of my own way. And the same thing that you're talking about, like, oh my God, am I going to remember my lines? Blah, 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 blah. But there's something about showtime. There's something about as soon as it's time, even with this, it's like, 5 o'clock comes and it's like, ready or not, here I come. And that's it. And then it's not about me anymore. It's about being the vessel. So it's, I mean, what you're saying, yeah, you're becoming the character, and the way I would describe it is I'm being the vessel for this expression to come through, whether it is a character I'm taking on or whether it is the character that I've been identifying with as long as I've been in this. I don't like the expression meat suit, but there it is. So anyway, but the point is, it's like, if all the world is a stage and we are all characters in the divine play, what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for to be the fully embodied, unapologetic, unheld back versions of ourselves? This is it. This is all we got. This moment. And if we are, the topic is navigating ego death. And it is only the ego that is self-conscious. It is only the ego that is shy. It is only the ego that is hesitant, that is questioning, who am I to? Am I worthy? Is it the right time? Do I look right? Do I sound right? Am I practiced enough? Or any of that stuff. The divine mind is always whole, complete, and perfect right here and now. There's nothing more to become than to just share ourselves. This is it. So to surrender the ego is actually very liberating, because it takes all the apology out of us. Because if we weren't supposed to be exactly how we are, we wouldn't be.
The gift. Indeed.
I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I trust
Trust the ease and flow.
I release the need to know. I trust
the
the
ease
ease and flow. Yay.
That was fun.
Mhm.
Hashamayim, Hashamayim.
You can take the girl out of the old country. You can't take the klezmer out of the girl.
And God forbid you should.
Right.
Let's sing another one.
Okay. How about this one? Let's do it as call and response so we can hear each other. It doesn't matter what you think of me.
Boom, boom, boom.
It doesn't matter
What you think of me.
I'm good with God, and that's enough for me.
I'm good with God, and that's
Got it.
enough for
Enough.
me.
One thing's for sure.
One thing's for sure.
My heart is pure.
My heart is pure.
So we can just agree to disagree.
So we can just agree to disagree. Agree,
Hey!
agree. Didn't quite get that last note there.
Hey!
So
Hey.
we can just agree to disagree.
Boom,
So
boom,
we
boom.
can just agree to disagree.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I love your music, Tess.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think
I
that
second
there's something about giving up the need to look good that is inherent to liberating the creative spirit.
Yeah, because who are we actually trying to look good for, since we're the only one here? There's nobody else here.
I am you and you are me.
I am you.
You
are me. We are one. I am you. You are me. We are
one.
That plays in my head all the time.
Oh, good. That's lovely. That's
I like to think of my, I see you. I'm like, I am. Love it.
And Lakesh, you are another myself. That's one of my favorite expressions. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how do we help the world to navigate this ego death without hurting?
Well, first of all, I think we have to be available for helping, though not like actively trying to help, because that's ego. As if something is wrong or something needs fixing, or there's a separate them over there that needs something that we over here have. And see, it's so subtle. Like these the way the ego works is so subtle, and ultimately everything is, it's the lotus, right? It's the eternal lotus. Everything is unfolding in divine order, and we don't have to do anything. We can just witness. However, compassion suggests that if somebody is struggling and they're looking for support, that we be the calm in the storm, you know. But when it's funny, because this teaching was talking about uh, victim and rescuer.
Oh,
That there has to be, in order to get to play the rescuer, you have to perceive a victim. And they're two sides of the same coin. It's still in the illusion of separation, and it's still in a subtle illusion of superiority, as if that other is not connected to source. And so he was using as an example, you know, feed a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And so it's like when we offer charity, and this was a big one for me to listen to, very humbling. When we offer charity, we're suggesting that we're connected to source and the other isn't.
I think as a strong vegan, you need to find a different metaphor than the fish story.
It was just a metaphor, Stu. Come on.
Well, I think something like
cut me some slack.
feed a man for a day, buy him some tofu, feed him for a lifetime, teach him how to grow soybeans or something like that.
Yeah, the point though is remind people of their connection to source. That's the greater contribution than to give them a handout, because you give them the handout and the handout lasts for so long, and then they're back in that same position again, and they're the victim and you're the rescuer, and the cycle continues. And so it's a very disempowered dynamic, and the greater dynamic is to support people in remembering how powerfully and unequivocally connected to divinity we all are.
by relating to the divinity in them.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So not to see them as a victim, even to, it's like, and that was what was cool about the Playhouse also, was that as every single person came in, I was connecting to the divine in each and every one of them. It was like, you know, and this was an invitation to step into the fully embodied, fully expressed version of self. And it was just so delightful to be in a room full of, you know, 40, 60, 80 people that were just giving themselves permission to fully express. It was delightful. I would like to find a venue to offer that again.
Sure would be nice if we could actually see ourselves already there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
embrace
when you
that.
said about finding a venue just then, Tess, my mind immediately went to the ego mind, creating goals and thinking that you have to do it.
Well, there's fun in it for me though. It's the pleasure part that I am excited about. It's more not a have to, it's a get to, because it was really a delightful experience. And the same thing, like I was describing with the theater thing, was that the leading up to it might have felt like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I'd rather stay home. I'd rather stay in bed. And then as soon as it was showtime, I mean, consistently every single week, it was so satisfying.
Well, I'm sure you could rent a theater if you were so inclined.
The same theater, you're saying?
No, I'm saying a theater.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather have a carpeted hall, like a banquet room in a hotel.
Oh, in a hotel room. So then you could travel and do it all over the country or the world.
Yeah, if I wanted to.
Galaxy.
The galaxy, that's right. The shamanic expression jam coming to you from Venus.
When I was in college, I took astronomy one semester, and the teacher was Asian, and he always called it the planet Venus.
That's pretty cute.
And he wasn't making a joke. That was just the way he pronounced it. The planet Venus.
Aw, that's so funny. Mm.
So Tess, you made an interesting point when I said, how do we, and you said not seeing others as victims or not in that space. So really, I wonder how do we presence it such that we are already there, that we recognize the divinity in each other, and we work together to continue to lift up and get closer and closer to God, to really embrace our own and each other's divinity, and be to resonate more actively, more consistently in that vibration. How can we do this so that there's so
I think I think I think this
Sorry.
is potentially a question for Jane, because Jane has told us that that is her most reliable tool, and I believe her. I believe you, Jane.
Well, I mean, it's just has to do with intention. That's all. So, if I'm feeling stuck, I'm asking what's the way forward. I always seem to want to feel as though I'm moving forward. And I ask, what's the way forward? Or I ask whatever I need. I'm just frequently tuning into divine guidance, or whatever it is that I'm feeling as though it's really important to me. I open myself up to it in divine order.
Do you speak to God out loud with your voice?
Not necessarily. Let me think. I can't actually. I don't really remember. Just a minute. No, I think I just do it in my mind. I don't think it really matters if you do it out loud or not. I mean, basically, whatever holds the most energy for me. So if it's the right words, it will feel energizing. If it's not, then it'll just sort of fizzle. So sometimes I try different words for different things.
Can you give us an example of?
I open myself up to an abundant, heart-filled life, body, mind, spirit, soul. And I've got it on my wall with a big heart in the background, with sort of lines going out like radiance. So I guess I open myself up to, or I welcome in the divine blessings that are all around me. I rest in divine presence. I open my heart to the joy, love, and well-being all around me. I am love. That's on another one. I've got my wall plastered with them.
You mean on the walls with
Yeah.
like paper and pen?
Right. I print them in color. I got a printer.
If I may, I would say, since time is an illusion and all there is now, it feels more empowering for me to bring it to the now, to like, and I ask myself, who am I being? And I seek to embody the version of me that is already there. And so then it becomes an energetic sensation. And how am I walking? How am I talking? How am I carrying myself? Do I feel like the version of me that I see in my mind's eye as the one who is living my clearly divine life? Like, I am living my divine life. I'm living it right here and right now. All there is right here and right now. And so it's not about becoming, it's about being. And it's not just me, it's all the me's. It's everyone. It's already here. And so it is. And the more I affirm that, the more I will feel it and see it reflected back to me. I really do believe that we are the cause of the effect that is all that we are experiencing out there. Like everything, the wars, the abuse, the whatever. It's like all the unhealed parts of ourselves that we have disowned, that we project out into the world. If we stop judging and we just love it all and take it all back to us, then we close the gap, because we keep putting what we want, like this dangling carrot, out in front of us, and it's always out there, and it's always out there, and it's always out there. But if it's like, oh my God, this is the way I've always wanted to feel, all I have to do is say that and I feel it, and I'm here, and it's like, we did it, we made it.
Thank you, Tess. What an exquisite answer.
This is my perfect life. I'm living my perfect life.
Okay. Back at you, girl. Thanks for living it with me.
Yeah. And you were there, and you were there, and you were there. So we just have a few minutes left. What's alive?
Time is an illusion.
It's true. And it's fun to play with sometimes. This teaching also, I felt so validated last night. This teaching also said, you're living in this illusory thing you made up called time. And every year, you create this thing called a year, and you celebrate getting older. Well, what if you use your birthday every year to celebrate getting younger?
I do.
So good. Yeah. Get younger, get healthier, get more vital. Yeah. It's all about permission, giving ourselves permission to make up whatever we want to make up. We are the creators.
All the world's a stage. We are merely actors. And we are the writers of our script. Why are we writing scripts we don't like? Why don't we just write a script we like or love?
Yeah. Yeah,
The character.
that's right. That's right. Check in, everyone.
Huh?
I would like a check-in.
Well, I was just thinking about 10 seconds ago that I really liked the Wonder Woman costume.
I'd love to see you in it, Stu.
Well, that would be something. But then again, you could buy one for Jane as an early Halloween gift.
I thought, yeah. Doesn't have to be for Halloween.
Just
No.
be sure to get the bracelets.
Yeah, just be for going to the market, Jane.
Right.
God. Stu, nice to hear you connect with God. I heard a lot of that today.
Oh, really? Thank you. It's interesting for me because aspects of my acting training were so deliciously passionate and fully self-expressed that I find myself in like men's groups and stuff and wanting to bring that flavor, and it tends to overwhelm some people. And certainly overwhelming people is not really what I'm after. What I'm after is to help liberate people, myself included. And so I think there's something about context. And I was supposed to have an audition tonight out in Julian for this
Fantastic.
upcoming production of the Fantastics, and I'm blowing it off and sitting here and being with you all. And I went back and forth with this thing, but a structure of a play that was written 40, 50, 60 years ago, and the richness of the present moment and the co-creation that can happen here and now between the four of us or more, or potentially creating my own event where people come together and I encourage and share and coach and teach people into full self-expression and full dynamic emotional self-expression is really seems more inherently natural and potentially fulfilling to me. Something like that.
Well, we've been evolving, and so old formats don't necessarily compel us anymore. They can't really hold our spirits.
When I was in Costa Rica working on 3 different play readings of the Oedipus trilogy with the guy that played Oedipus and was the director and was a retired Yale University theater professor, during the second reading in rehearsal, he got so mad at me for something I was doing, and I was delivering the lines and I was standing in the right place that he wanted me to, but he got so angry at me, he yelled, "Fuck you," at me in the middle of the rehearsal. And I was just using the rehearsal process to explore, and I guess I guess he got triggered. And most everyone else was a less experienced actor, and so they didn't know what was going on between he and I. But wow,
That's archetypal.
yeah, it was male. You know, it was male ego stuff.
Wowza. Well, you guys, I love you all. And I thank you so much for being here and sharing yourselves and being willing to play so confrontively and transparently. And I hope you all feel the love that's here underneath the egos that we all share in our souls, and the one soul that is masquerading as four here. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday for our 1 year anniversary, episode number 52. And just to be transparent, I am considering taking a little break after that to see if I can get it together in a way that feels more functional to me, that because I want to be able to keep all of these. It would be nice to be able to keep them. I think I've only kept about like the first 6 or 8 of them before it got funky, and they're still all on my Facebook, because you have an option, delete in 30 days, delete in 6 months, never delete, and I've always clicked never delete. So they should all still be on my Facebook, and maybe I'll get an assistant to help me upload them all to my YouTube. And I'm watching Panache a lot because I want to learn from him, his formats of how he does things, because I think he's very functional and user friendly, and it would be nice to grow, to evolve, have a system that is more coherent. So we'll see what happens. I might decide I can't do that because there's something healing and good about showing up, but we'll see.
I'm happy to kick it around with you if you'd like.
Okay, that sounds great. I appreciate
Can
it.
I make a request of
Yeah.
Stu? Can you sing Marathon next week? Since this has been a year-long process for Tess.
Sing what song?
Marathon.
I'm not sure I know it. I have to do some research.
It's from the Fantastics.
Marathon?
Marathon. Marathon. No,
Oh,
it's
I
from
don't know
the
it.
Fantastics.
And you know what? When you said it, it reminded me of the song that I performed when I played Starbuck in 110 in the Shade, called Melisande, which I hadn't thought of in years. So when you said, could I sing Marathon, I heard Melisande. So
okay, sing Marathon.
That would be quite a trick too. It's been decades since I sang that song. So. Anyway, well, thank you for the request, and I'll see if I can fulfill it in another time.
You good, Jane?
Yeah, I'm just hungry because I haven't had dinner yet.
Okay,
So-
everybody go nourish yourselves in another way, and I'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you, Tess.
Thank you, Tess.
Bye, whoever else is watching.